Jiho wiped the sweat from his brow and looked out over the thick jungle of Eltar 5. The sky was dark with heavy clouds, and strange sounds filled the air. Birds with bright feathers and sharp claws called to each other, and distant roars echoed between the tall trees. Jiho felt a mix of excitement and nervousness. He was far from the safety of the colony ship and deep inside a wild, unknown world. Jiho was a young engineer from Earth. He was part of a small team sent to explore and gather resources for the growing human colonies in space. Eltar 5 was a new planet, barely touched by humans. The government wanted to see if it could be useful for mining or farming. But so far, the planet seemed full of dangers, not chances. His ship had broken down during the landing. Now Jiho had to find parts to fix it or call for help. That was why he was walking alone in the jungle, carrying only a small bag with tools, his energy pistol, and a communicator. The dense green leaves above blocked the sunlight, making the forest floor dark and wet. Suddenly, Jiho heard a sharp crack. It sounded like a trap. He froze and listened carefully. There was a low growl nearby, mixed with a sound like something struggling. Cautiously, Jiho moved toward the noise. His heart beat faster. The jungle around him was full of unknown animals and strange plants. But this sound was different. It was close, and it sounded like someone was hurt. Jiho pushed aside a large leaf and stopped. In front of him was a trap. It was not like anything he had seen before. The trap was made of glowing energy beams, forming a cage around a tall figure. Inside the trap was a woman. But she was no ordinary woman. She was huge, much taller than a human, and covered in short golden fur. Her eyes were bright and sharp, shining like a wild animal's. She had pointed ears and long claws on her fingers. Her muscles were strong and powerful, and her face was both beautiful and fierce. The woman struggled to break free, but the energy beams burned her skin each time she touched them. She let out a deep, angry growl, but the trap held tight. Jiho's mind raced. Was this some kind of alien? A beast? He did not want to get close, but he could not leave her like this. He took a deep breath and stepped forward. "I'm going to help you," he said quietly. The woman looked at him with wild eyes. For a moment, Jiho saw fear and anger there. Then she stopped struggling and watched him carefully. Jiho pulled out his tools and examined the trap. It looked like some kind of advanced technology, not natural at all. He found a small control panel on the side and began working quickly to disable it. The energy beams flickered and buzzed as Jiho pressed buttons and cut wires. The woman stayed very still, watching him with a mixture of suspicion and hope. After a tense moment, the trap's glow faded and the cage disappeared. The woman stepped out, stretching her long limbs. She looked at Jiho with a strange expression. "Thank you," she said in a low, rough voice. Her accent was strange, but Jiho could understand her. "I'm Jiho," he said, holding out his hand. "I'm here to fix my ship. What's your name?" The woman hesitated, then said, "Rava, I am from the Vayari." Jiho frowned. "Vayari? We are the people of this land," Rava said, her eyes scanning the jungle as if remembering something painful. Jiho noticed the sadness in her voice. "Are you hurt?" Rava lifted her arm and showed a burn from the trap's energy. Jiho quickly took out a small medical kit from his bag. "Let me help," he said gently. Rava watched as Jiho cleaned the wound and put a healing gel on it. He tried not to touch her too much, but she did not pull away. As he worked, Jiho asked, "Why did someone set that trap?" Rava growled softly. "Hunters. They want to capture my people, to sell us or kill us." Jiho's eyes widened. "Hunters? You mean people like humans?" Rava shook her head. "No. Different. Outsiders from other worlds. They do not care about life." Jiho understood then how dangerous this place was. If even a strong warrior like Rava could be caught, many others must be in danger. Suddenly, Rava stepped closer and looked at Jiho seriously. "You saved me. In my world, that means you are my mate." Jiho blinked. "Mate? What do you mean?" Rava's golden eyes held his gaze. A bond, a promise, to protect each other, to live as one. Jiho was surprised and a little confused. I don't know if I can do that, we are very different. Rava smiled slightly, showing sharp teeth. Difference does not matter. Life matters, you saved my life, that is enough. Jiho felt his heart beat faster. This was more than he expected when he came here. I don't know your world or your customs, he said honestly, but I want to help. Maybe we can learn from each other. Rava nodded. Then we are mates. Jiho looked around the jungle. The wind rustled the leaves, and the strange sounds of Eltar 5 continued. He thought about the lonely nights ahead if he stayed, and the dangers they might face. But he also thought about Rava, the strong, wild woman who had just trusted him with her life. For the first time since the crash, Jiho felt hope. I will stay with you, he said quietly. Rava's eyes shone, with something like happiness. Good. Together, we will survive. Jiho smiled, feeling the weight of this new promise. Whatever this strange planet had in store, he would face it with Rava by his side. Jiho and Rava moved slowly through the thick jungle of Eltar 5. The trees were tall, their trunks wide and covered with strange moss. Strange birds flew above them and insects buzzed around, but the two walked carefully. Jiho was still learning how to survive in this wild world. Rava knew every step and every sound. Rava stayed close to Jiho. She did not want to leave his side. Jiho noticed she watched him with bright eyes, always alert and ready. He felt nervous. She was strong and wild, and he was just a human. But he also felt a strange connection. They had little to say at first. Jiho tried to explain human things, like his work as an engineer and how he hoped to fix his ship. Rava listened, but did not understand all his words. She spoke too, telling stories about her people, the Vayari. They were hunters and warriors who lived in the jungle proud and free. But their worlds were very different. Rava did not like technology. She said it was cold and dangerous. Jiho loved technology. It helped him fix problems and protect himself. Sometimes their views clashed. One afternoon, Jiho took out a small water filter from his bag. He showed Rava how it worked. See? This makes water clean and safe to drink, he said. Rava frowned. The jungle gives water. Why change it with machines? Jiho smiled. Because sometimes the water is dirty. It can make you sick. Rava looked at the device and then back at Jiho. I do not trust machines. They hurt the jungle. Jiho was quiet for a moment. I want to help, not hurt, I promise. Rava nodded slowly. We will see. They walked on, deeper into the jungle. Jiho learned to watch for dangers, like poisonous plants and quick-moving predators. Rava taught him how to listen to the jungle sounds and understand what they meant. One day, a loud roar came from nearby. Jiho froze. Rava growled softly and stepped in front of him. Stay close. A large beast appeared through the bushes. It looked like a huge wolf, but with glowing red eyes and thick black fur. It growled and bared sharp teeth. Jiho pulled out his energy pistol and aimed, but Rava stopped him with a hand. Wait, she said. This is my fight. Rava moved quickly, her body low and ready. The beast lunged, and Rava dodged with fast, powerful moves. She fought with claws and teeth, showing great strength and skill. After a few tense moments, the beast ran away, hurt and defeated. Jiho watched, amazed. You're incredible. Rava smiled, but her eyes were serious. The jungle is dangerous. You must learn to be strong. Jiho nodded. I will try. Days passed. Rava grew more protective. She began marking their path with scratches on trees and low growls to warn other creatures. She even brought Jiho fresh meat from her hunts, placing it near him like a gift. Jiho was not used to this. He felt strange about the idea of being claimed like that, but he could not deny he was grateful. One evening, Jiho sat by the small fire they made. Rava was near, cleaning her claws with a sharp stone. Jiho looked at her and said, "Rava, I know you said I am your mate, but I am not sure what that means for me." Rava stopped and looked at him with wide eyes. "Mate means you belong to me, and I belong to you. It means we protect each other." Jiho shook his head gently. "In human culture, mates choose each other. It is not just saving someone and then belonging, it is more mutual." Rava's golden eyes narrowed. "You saved my life. That is why you belong to me. This is simple." Jiho sighed. "But I do not want to own you, and I do not want you to own me. I want to be friends, maybe more. But only if we both want." Rava's face softened. "Friends can be mates. Mates can be friends." Jiho smiled. "I hope so." Days turned into weeks. Jiho and Rava learned to trust each other more. Jiho showed Rava how to use some simple tools to start small fires or clean wounds. Rava taught Jiho how to track animals and move silently through the jungle. They became a strange team, man and alien Beastwoman. But the jungle was not the only challenge. One morning, Jiho heard voices. He looked up and saw several figures moving through the trees. They were Vayari warriors, tall and fierce like Rava, but their faces were hard and angry. Rava stepped forward, her posture strong and proud. "They are my tribe," she said quietly. The warriors stopped and stared at Jiho. Their leader, a tall woman with short black hair named Kira, stepped forward. "You bring a human here, Rava?" Kira said sharply. Rava did not answer. Kira looked at Jiho. "Why are you here? Why do you walk with her?" Jiho stood tall. "I crashed here by accident. I helped Rava out of a trap. I want to fix my ship and leave." Kira's eyes were cold. "Your kind has brought trouble before. Why should we trust you?" Jiho swallowed hard. "I don't want to cause trouble. I want to learn and help." Kira narrowed her eyes. "The tribe will decide your fate." Rava stepped between them. "I choose Jiho. He saved me. He is my mate." The warriors gasped. It was rare for a Vayari to take a human as mate. Many saw humans as weak or dangerous. Kira sneered. "A human cannot be a mate of a Vayari. You shame yourself, Rava." Rava stood tall and proud. "I will prove he is worthy." Kira's lips twisted into a smile. "Very well. You will face the trials of proving." Jiho looked at Rava, confused and worried. "What is that?" Rava's eyes burned with fierce determination. "If you want to be my mate, you must survive the trials. It is the only way." Jiho nodded slowly. "I will do my best." That night, as they prepared for the trials, Jiho and Rava sat by the fire. Rava looked at Jiho with warmth. "You are not like others. You have a strong heart." Jiho smiled. "I am afraid, but I will try." Rava reached out and touched his hand lightly. "Together, we will be strong." Jiho looked at her shining eyes and felt hope. Maybe, in this wild jungle, he had found something more than survival. He had found a new home. The sun rose high above the jungle of Eltar 5. The birds sang loudly, and the air was thick with the smell of wet leaves and earth. Jiho stood at the edge of a clearing, feeling nervous and excited. Around him, Vayari warriors gathered. They were tall and strong, with sharp eyes and fierce faces. At the center of the clearing stood Kira, the leader of the tribe's scouting party. Her black hair was tied back, and she held a spear with confident hands. She looked at Jiho with a hard gaze. "Human," Kira said, her voice cold but clear. "You want to be the mate of our warrior, Rava. But first you must prove yourself worthy. The trials of proving will decide your fate." Jiho swallowed hard. "I will do my best." Kira nodded and called the tribe to attention. The trials are 3 parts. First, the survival gauntlet. You must survive alone in the deepest jungle for 3 days and nights. Second, the hunt. You must catch a Vayari beast without weapons. Third, the test of strength. You must face one of us in combat. Jiho's heart pounded. The trial sounded impossible. He was just a man with some tools and little training. The Vayari were born in this jungle. They were hunters and fighters. How could he survive? Rava stepped forward and touched Jiho's shoulder. I will help you. I will teach you what you need to know. Jiho looked at her with gratitude. Thank you, Rava. The first trial began immediately. Jiho was given a small pack with food for 1 day, a water container, and a simple blade. Then he was left at the edge of the deep jungle. For 3 days, Jiho moved quietly through the wild forest. He used what Rava had taught him: how to listen to the sounds, how to find safe water, and how to avoid dangerous animals. Nights were cold and full of strange noises. Jiho felt fear many times, but remembered Rava's words. Be strong. The jungle respects strength. On the second day, Jiho nearly stepped into a pit covered by leaves. His heart raced as he pulled back just in time. He realized the jungle was full of hidden dangers. On the third night, a pack of small predators circled his camp. Jiho used his blade to make loud noises and held a fire stick. The animals ran away, but Jiho knew he could not depend on luck forever. At the end of the 3 days, Jiho returned to the tribe's camp, exhausted but alive. Kira and the other warriors watched him carefully. You survived the gauntlet, Kira said. Few humans last that long. Jiho nodded, catching his breath. It was hard, but I learned a lot. The second trial was the hunt. Jiho stood without weapons in a large clearing. He was told to catch a Vayari beast called a cranach, a wild animal with sharp teeth and fast legs. The cranach was known for being clever and deadly. Jiho watched the forest edge. After a few minutes, he saw the cranach moving silently through the trees. It smelled the air, searching for danger. Jiho remembered the lessons from Rava. He moved, slowly and quietly, keeping low and avoiding broken branches. His heart pounded with fear and excitement. Suddenly, the cranach turned and charged at him. Jiho dodged quickly and ran behind a large tree. He thought fast and grabbed a thick vine from the ground. When the cranach attacked again, Jiho swung the vine like a whip. It hit the animal's side and made it stumble. The beast growled but did not give up. Jiho chased the cranach through the jungle, tired but determined. After several minutes, he managed to trap it against a cliff. Using his hands, Jiho grabbed the beast's neck and held it firmly until it calmed down. He did not want to hurt it, just prove he could catch it. The tribe's warriors cheered from the clearing. Kira looked impressed but said nothing. Jiho returned to camp, his body aching but his spirit strong. The final trial was the test of strength. Kira stepped forward and said, "You will fight me." Jiho's eyes widened. He had never fought anyone like this before. Kira was strong, fast, and skilled in combat. They moved to the center of the clearing surrounded by the tribe. Jiho took a deep breath and prepared himself. Kira attacked first, swinging her spear with power. Jiho dodged, using quick moves he learned from watching Rava. He grabbed a fallen branch to defend himself. The fight was hard. Jiho was slower and weaker than Kira, but he used his mind and speed. He watched her movements and waited for an opening. When Kira overextended, Jiho pushed her spear aside and tackled her to the ground. The tribe gasped. Jiho did not hurt Kira, but held her firmly. "I yield," he said respectfully. Kira looked up at him and smiled. "You have proven yourself, human," she said. "You have the heart and strength of a Vayari. The tribe accepts you." Rava stepped forward and hugged Jiho tightly. "You did it," she whispered. Jiho smiled, feeling proud but tired. The trials were hard, but he had passed. That night, the tribe celebrated with a great feast. Humans and Vayari sat together, eating strange fruits and roasted meat. Jiho and Rava sat side by side. For the first time, Jiho felt he belonged. Kira approached them and said, "Remember, human, you are now part of us. Honor Rava and our tribe." Jiho nodded. "I will." Rava looked at Jiho with shining eyes. "You are no longer just a stranger. You are my mate and a Vayari warrior." Jiho reached for her hand and held it tight. "Together," he said softly, "we will face whatever comes. Next." The celebration ended, and the night grew quiet over the Vayari camp. The stars shone above the tall trees, and the jungle's sounds became soft and distant. Jiho sat beside Rava, watching the fire's orange glow flicker on her golden fur. He felt tired but happy. He had passed the trials and gained a new family. But deep inside, he knew the dangers were far from over. Rava's voice broke the silence. "The hunters are still near," she said softly. Jiho looked at her surprised. "Hunters? I thought we were safe here." Rava's eyes darkened. "No. They come from other worlds. They want to capture the Vayari and sell us or kill us. The tribe fights, but the hunters are strong and use machines." Jiho frowned. "We need to warn the others and prepare." Rava nodded. "We must act fast. The hunters will not stop." The next morning, the tribe gathered in the clearing. Kira stood before them, serious and strong. "We have hunted the jungle long and kept it safe," she said. "But the hunters grow bolder. We must defend our home." Jiho stepped forward. "I want to help. I have knowledge of technology. Maybe I can build something to protect the tribe." Kira looked at him with surprise. "You passed the trials, human. Show us what you can do." Jiho spent the day searching the camp and jungle for materials. He found old metal scraps from the crashed ship and some strong vines. Using his tools, he began to build simple traps and alarms to warn of danger. Rava helped him, carrying parts and watching carefully. At first, the tribe was unsure. Many warriors whispered doubts about trusting a human's machines. But when Jiho's traps caught a small wild animal and sent a loud alarm, the Vayari grew curious and hopeful. Days passed, and Jiho worked hard. He built more traps and even fashioned a simple energy net to protect the camp. Rava stayed close, teaching him how to move quietly and fight if needed. One evening, while Jiho tested a new alarm near the jungle's edge, he heard a strange sound. Whispers, voices speaking in a harsh language. He froze. Then, lights appeared between the trees. Hunters. Jiho ran back to camp as fast as he could. "Hunters! They are coming!" The tribe quickly gathered, armed and ready. Rava stood next to Jiho. "We will fight to protect our home." Hunters arrived, stepping through the jungle with powerful weapons and armored suits. Their machines hummed and glowed with deadly energy. Kira raised her spear. "Attack!" The jungle exploded with noise, roars, gunfire, and battle cries. Jiho used his traps to slow the hunters, but the enemy was strong and well-armed. The Vayari fought fiercely, but some hunters managed to capture a few warriors. Jiho saw one hunter aim at Rava. Without thinking, he jumped in front and took the blast. The energy hit his shoulder, burning but not stopping him. Rava's eyes filled with fear and anger. She charged at the hunter, tearing through his armor with her claws. The fight was brutal and fast. The hunters began to retreat, but the damage was done. After the battle, the tribe counted the losses. Several Vayari were wounded, and some were taken. Kira looked at Jiho with respect and pain. "You saved Rava. You are a true warrior." Jiho winced, holding his injured shoulder. "I could have died." Rava touched his arm gently. "You risked yourself for me. That means more than words." That night, Jiho and Rava sat together away from the camp. Jiho's shoulder hurt, but he smiled. "I never thought I would fight like this," he said. "But I want to protect you and the tribe." Rava leaned against him. "You are more than a mate now. You are family." Jiho looked into the dark jungle and made a promise. "We will find the captured warriors. We will stop the hunters," Rava nodded. "And we will fight together. The next days were filled with preparation. Jiho helped strengthen the camp's defenses while Rava trained with him to improve his fighting skills. The tribe shared stories of the hunters' movements and planned a rescue mission. Jiho learned more about the Vayari's way of life, their honor, their love for the jungle, and their fierce loyalty. Rava showed him a secret path through the forest, narrow and hidden by thick plants. "This will help us surprise the hunters," she said. Jiho felt stronger and more confident with every step. One night, as they rested near the secret path, Rava looked at Jiho seriously. "Are you ready? The next fight will be harder." Jiho nodded. "I am ready. For you. For us." The stars shone above, silent witnesses to their new bond. Together, they would face the darkness ahead. The sun had not yet risen. The jungle was quiet and dark. Jiho stood beside Rava, ready. Today was the day they would enter the enemy camp and rescue the captured Vayari. Their hearts were full of hope, fear, and determination. Kira and a small group of warriors waited near the edge of the jungle. Jiho looked at them, then turned to Rava. "Are you sure we can do this?" Rava gave him a small smile. "Yes. You are one of us now. We fight together." Jiho nodded. His arm was still sore from the last battle, but he didn't care. He had made a promise to Rava and to the tribe. He would keep it. The team moved through the jungle using the secret path Rava had shown Jiho earlier. They made no sound. The trees were thick, and the ground was soft. The only noises were the calls of birds and distant howls of wild animals. After 2 hours of walking, they saw the enemy camp. It was hidden in a wide clearing surrounded by electric fences. Metal towers stood tall, blinking with red lights. Inside the camp were cages made of steel. Jiho saw Vayari warriors inside, weak, hurt, but alive. Kira raised her hand. "We wait until night. Then we strike." Jiho crouched low, staring at the machines. "I can shut off their power, but I need to get close." Rava looked at him with concern. "It's too dangerous." Jiho shook his head. "If I cut the power, the fence will go down. You can attack while they're confused," Kira agreed. "Good. We'll cover you." That night the stars were hidden by thick clouds. The darkness was perfect for their plan. Jiho crawled through the grass, moving toward the power tower. He wore jungle mud on his face to blend in. His heart pounded in his chest. One wrong move and he would be seen. He reached the tower and opened a small panel. Inside, wires and lights blinked. Jiho took a deep breath. He had studied this kind of tech before. He pulled out his small toolkit and began to work. Behind him, Rava and the others waited in the shadows, watching. Suddenly, a hunter guard walked past, too close. Jiho froze, holding his breath. The guard stopped, looked around, then walked away. Jiho continued working. Sparks flew, then click. The lights blinked once and went dark. All power down. Jiho shouted as he ran back. The camp exploded with noise. Kira and her warriors charged forward. The electric fence was off. Rava ran with lightning speed, knocking down 2 guards. The cages were opened. Vayari warriors climbed out, weak, but ready to fight. The hunters fired their energy weapons, but without power, many of their machines failed. They were confused. Jiho joined the fight with a spear in hand. He dodged a blast and pushed a guard into a trap he had made days ago. The battle was wild and fast. Vayari and hunters fought all across the camp. Rava faced the hunter leader, a tall man in dark armor with a long energy blade. He moved fast and struck hard, but Rava was quicker. She leapt forward, slashing his arm. The leader growled in pain. He tried to strike back, but Jiho joined her, throwing a sharp spear. It hit the leader's shoulder. He fell to the ground, defeated. The remaining hunters began to retreat into the jungle. Kira raised her voice. "Let them run. They will think twice before coming back." The battle was over. The tribe gathered together in the clearing. Many were hurt, but they were free. Jiho helped carry wounded warriors. Rava cleaned her blade and came to him. You were brave, she said. I was afraid for you. Jiho smiled, tired but happy. I was afraid too. But I couldn't let them hurt our people. Kira walked over and placed a hand on Jiho's shoulder. You saved many lives today. You are not just one of us. You are a hero. The tribe cheered. Jiho felt a warmth in his chest. He had found something he never expected in this alien jungle: purpose, friendship, and love. Later, back at the Vayari village, a great fire was lit. The warriors danced, sang, and shared stories of the fight. Food was passed around and the night was filled with joy. Rava sat beside Jiho, her golden fur shining in the firelight. You changed, she said softly. Jiho looked at her. I feel like I found who I really am. Rava leaned close. And I found who I want to be with. They held hands, silent but full of emotion. Kira stood and raised her cup. To Jiho, who came from the stars and became one of us. The tribe raised their voices in cheer. Jiho looked at the stars above. He remembered the quiet life he had before, alone and far from danger. But this life, this wild and strange life among the Vayari, had given him something greater: a home, a family, and a future. As the fire crackled and the jungle whispered around them, Jiho knew one thing for sure. He had saved Rava once. But now, she had saved him too. Together, they would protect their tribe, their jungle, and their bond forever.